Food has a massive impact in how you feel and perform, but over the years I've realized that most elite entrepreneurs do not pay attention to how well they feed themselves in order to get to the next level. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what to eat and how to fast for peak performance. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Leon, CEO and founder of Selfmastered, a peak performance training company that transforms entrepreneurs into elite performers that can achieve in one day what they previously achieved in 1 week. I've coached and trained hundreds of entrepreneurs and invested in 37 of them. So today I want to talk about what for me is the last frontier in peak performance optimization. At least it is something that I don't see many people discussing, and it makes a difference, which is your diet. In fact, there's plenty of stories of elite athletes and entrepreneurs that fixed their diet and became the top at their games. Like for instance, Novak Djokovic, who was number 3 and number 4 of the world until he worked with a nutritionist to fix his diet, and he shot to the first position in the ATP ranking. The food you eat based on your genetic blueprint has a massive impact in your performance level. And every time I find myself talking to an elite performer, I see that they have a clear understanding of how food affects themselves. Some of them have even tested this, and they know what levers to pull to always be at the top of their game. There's one tenet in your diet in regards to peak performance, which is keeping your glucose level stable. See, every time you eat something, there's a spike in your glucose, which is in essence the sugar levels in your blood. If the spike is too extreme, it will always get followed by a slump, the prototypical afternoon slump that I'm sure you have experienced at some point in your life. So if you want to perform at your best, you need to avoid huge swings in your glucose level. And you can achieve this by eating a specific type of food that does not alter your blood sugar levels that much. And these foods are, you guessed it, clean foods, ideally without any carbohydrate, because carbohydrates are digested very fast and create a spike in your sugar levels. On the other side, clean foods, which are mostly protein and fat, take longer to digest, so the glucose does not spike that much, and you have a more consistent energy deployment that you can use to be focused in your day today. Now, not all carbohydrates are bad. Of course, we highly recommend fruits and vegetables, not only because they do not have as much of an impact on the glucose levels in the blood, but also because they have key nutrients that can help the brain perform better. They help with memory retention and with the overall brain health. So the best food you can have is clean food, either a piece of protein, it can be fish, it can be meat, with a side salad or a green vegetable. That is what I have every single day and allows me to be on top of my game. Now, something that needs to be said at this point is that food is not everything. You need to pay attention to hydration, because 80% of people are dehydrated, and most of the fatigue that you may experience in your day-to-day comes from not having the correct hydration levels. In fact, there's a study that said that 40% descent in hydration may lead to up to 25% decrease in productivity. So it is very important to pay attention to how much hydration do you have over your day to day. And in case of doubt, just overhydrate, because that's better than being underhydrated. So these are the 2 biggest levers in peak performance nutrition. 1, make sure that you're having clean food with low glycemic acid and high satiety index, so you do not need to eat as much food, and the food you eat does not spike your glucose too much, but also make sure you're conveniently hydrated. And what about fasting? Well, before I tell you about fasting, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on any of the juicy videos that are coming your way. So what about fasting? So intermittent fasting, which is a way of eating in which you have a 16 hours on average window in which you do not take any food, and 8 hours in which you have 1, 2, or even 3 meals, right? What this does is that not only this stimulates your brain health with the secretion of specific hormones, but it also helps you regulate your glucose levels. So it can help you be more consistent in your energy. If you fast for long enough, your body will switch to burning ketones, in essence, burning fat that is stored in your body, which will help you be more consistent in your energy levels. Now, there's one caveat here, which is if you do not eat enough for long enough, at some point you will have no glucose, and some people are just not that good at burning ketones, which means that they may lack the necessary energy, which is why I do not adhere to the prototypical 16-8 protocols of fasting in the morning as most people do, but I like to fast at night, because at night not only does it help in the secretion of growth hormone, because it also helps regulate my sleep. Now in the morning, well, most people tend to fast and thus deplete their glucose levels. I like to have a very light breakfast that can take me to lunchtime without massive swings in glucose. So whatever you choose to do, either fast at night or fast in the morning, fasting is in essence good for you, right? So the 3 tenets: 1, clean foods; 2, enough hydration; and 3, fasting, ideally at night, to not compromise your energy levels throughout the day. I hope this was useful. See you in the next video.